Welcome back to Pleasure Principles. Today we're diving into a complex and often misunderstood topic, the world of sex work. It's a topic that often evokes strong emotions, whispers behind closed doors, and a fair bit of misunderstanding. This complex world, often shrouded in secrecy and stigma, is far more nuanced than many realize. It encompasses a wide range of experiences, motivations, and individuals. At its core, sex work involves the exchange of sexual services for money or other forms of compensation. It's a global phenomenon with a long and complicated history, shaped by social norms, economic disparities, and personal circumstances. We'll look closely at three primary forms: street prostitution, escort services, and online sex work. Each comes with its own set of challenges, risks, and dynamics. By understanding the realities faced by those involved in sex work, we can begin to dismantle harmful stereotypes and foster a more compassionate and informed dialogue. Street prostitution, the most visible form of sex work, often takes place in public spaces, such as street corners or red light districts. It's a world where vulnerability is often palpable. Women, men, and transgender individuals engage in street-based sex work for a variety of reasons, including poverty, addiction, or lack of other opportunities. Risks abound on the streets: violence from clients, exposure to sexually transmitted infections, and the constant threat of police arrest are daily realities. Many street-based sex workers lack access to healthcare, social services, and even basic necessities like food and shelter. The stigma attached to street prostitution further marginalizes those involved. They often face discrimination, social isolation, and judgment from both strangers and loved ones. This lack of support and protection leaves street-based sex workers incredibly vulnerable. Their stories are a stark reminder of the urgent need for greater understanding, compassion, and resources to address the complex factors that lead individuals to the streets. Escort services offer a more discreet alternative to street prostitution. Clients typically contact escorts through agencies, websites, or personal referrals. These encounters usually occur in private locations, such as hotels or apartments. While escort services may appear safer than street-based sex work, they come with their own set of complexities. Escorts often face pressure to meet the demands of clients and agencies, which can include engaging in risky sexual practices or working long hours. Legal issues surrounding escort services vary widely. In some places, escort agencies operate within the bounds of the law, while in others, any form of sex work is strictly prohibited. The line between escort services and trafficking can become blurred, highlighting the importance of vigilance and support for those who may be coerced or exploited within this industry. The internet has revolutionized sex work, creating a virtual world for transactions and content creation with relative anonymity. Online sex work includes webcam modeling, subscription-based content, and virtual companionship. Online platforms offer control over work environment, pricing, and boundaries. They can curate their persona and reduce risks of street-based prostitution. However, the digital realm presents challenges like harassment and privacy violations. Anonymity can embolden clients, and lack of regulation makes it hard to protect workers. While some individuals freely choose to engage in sex work, it's essential to acknowledge the dark underbelly of the industry, exploitation, and abuse. Trafficking, coercion, and violence cast a long shadow over the lives of countless individuals, many of whom are forced or manipulated into sex work against their will. Traffickers often prey on vulnerable individuals, such as those living in poverty, experiencing homelessness, or fleeing dangerous situations. They use deception, threats, or violence to control their victims, forcing them into sexual exploitation for profit. Coercion can take many forms, including psychological manipulation, debt bondage, or threats against loved ones. Victims of trafficking and exploitation often endure horrific physical, emotional, and sexual abuse. Recognizing the signs of exploitation and supporting organizations working to combat trafficking are crucial steps in addressing this critical issue. The legal status of sex work varies dramatically across the globe, creating a complex patchwork of laws and regulations. In some countries, sex work is legal and regulated, with specific laws governing licensing and health checks. Other countries criminalize sex work, making it illegal to buy, sell, or facilitate. Criminalization often drives sex work underground, making it more dangerous. The legal landscape continues to evolve, with debates on protecting rights and addressing exploitation. The stigma associated with sex work is pervasive and deeply ingrained in many societies. Negative attitudes, stereotypes, and discrimination create significant barriers for sex workers, impacting their access to healthcare, housing, education, and employment opportunities. Sex workers often face judgment, shame, and social isolation. They may be ostracized by family and friends, denied services, or subjected to verbal and physical harassment. This stigma can have a devastating impact on their mental health, self-esteem, and overall well-being. The media often perpetuates harmful stereotypes about sex work, portraying it as inherently dangerous, exploitative, or morally wrong. These narratives fail to capture the diversity of experiences within sex work and contribute to the dehumanization of those involved. Challenging stigma and discrimination requires open dialogue, education, and a shift in societal attitudes. It's about recognizing the humanity of sex workers, respecting their autonomy, and advocating for their rights. Health and safety are paramount concerns for sex workers. Due to the nature of their work, they face a range of health risks, including sexually transmitted infections, violence, and substance abuse. Access to healthcare is crucial, but stigma and discrimination can create barriers to seeking medical attention, leading some to avoid or delay necessary care. Comprehensive healthcare services tailored to the specific needs of sex workers, including STI testing and treatment, mental health support, and substance abuse counseling, are essential. Harm reduction strategies, such as condom distribution, peer education, and safe sex practices, play a vital role in minimizing risks. Additionally, creating a supportive environment where sex workers feel comfortable reporting violence or abuse without fear of judgment is crucial. Providing access to legal aid, counseling, and support services can empower sex workers to assert their rights and seek justice if they experience exploitation, violence, or discrimination. It's essential to move beyond simply viewing sex workers as victims and recognize their agency, resilience, and capacity for self-determination. Many sex workers are strong, resourceful individuals who engage in sex work as a deliberate choice, often for reasons of economic necessity, personal freedom, or sexual liberation. Empowering sex workers involves amplifying their voices, listening to their experiences, and supporting their efforts to advocate for their rights and improve their working conditions. Sex worker-led organizations play a vital role in this regard, providing peer support, advocating for policy changes, and challenging stigma and discrimination. Recognizing the diversity of experiences within sex work is essential. Not all sex workers share the same views or experiences, and it's crucial to avoid making generalizations. Engaging in open and respectful dialogue with sex workers themselves is the best way to understand their perspectives, needs, and aspirations. Shifting societal attitudes towards sex work is an ongoing process that requires empathy, education, and a willingness to challenge deeply held beliefs. It's about moving beyond judgment and recognizing the humanity of sex workers as individuals deserving of respect, dignity, and safety. Open and honest conversations about sex work are crucial for breaking down stigma and fostering understanding. Educating ourselves and others about the complexities of sex work, the diverse experiences of those involved, and the impact of stigma and discrimination can help to create a more informed and compassionate society. Supporting organizations that work to improve the lives of sex workers, advocate for their rights, and provide essential services is another important step. By working together, we can create a future where sex workers are treated with dignity and respect, their rights are protected, and their safety is paramount. The journey towards a just world for sex workers requires collective effort. It's a call to action for individuals, communities, and policymakers to address the challenges facing sex workers. Educate ourselves, challenge stereotypes, and engage in respectful conversations. Support sex worker-led organizations and advocate for policy changes. Support decriminalization for improved safety and reduced criminal activity. Advocate for accessible, non-judgmental healthcare services. Challenge stigma, promote respectful language, and treat sex workers with dignity. Together, we can empower sex workers to live safe, fulfilling lives. Embrace compassion, understanding, and a commitment to justice for all.